Right, so this is a follow-on from the previous lesson that we talked when we talked about the DBMS and how a DBMS can talk to the existing database and how it's used as a separate piece of software on top of the database in order to move it around. Now, to organize data. Now, the next thing we have to talk about is how data is stored. Now, this is important because obviously the different ways that we store the data can have a big impact on speed of access. Okay? Now, there are two different types of speed. There's access speed, so I can get to it really quickly, or storage speed. I can either access it really quickly or I can store it really quickly. Depending on how much you're doing of each task, you can choose different data storage methods. And storage we'll add onto that one and deletion. Okay? And depending on how we decide to prioritize our tasks depends on what you're going to get out of it. Now, there are three main ones that you need to know about when you're talking about data storage. The three main methods we're going to talk about. The first one is serial. Serial data files, or serial data storage. The easiest way to remember this is like a TV series. Okay? If you watch a TV series, it's stored one after the other. So here's my line of data, and these are each individual item of data in my database. And how is my data stored? Well, it's stored like a series, one after the other. There you go. And that's how it's stored. Now, there you go, there's my little storage. Okay, so each file is stored one after the other, just tacked on the end. Okay, so the advantage of that is that if I want to add something, well, the first advantage is that it's simple. Okay, it's the easiest way that we store something. If you think about a bookshelf, if I want to add a new book to the bookshelf, I can plonk it on the end, and it's simple. Okay, the other way is it's fast add. Okay, you can add something really quickly to a serial data store, because let's face it, if I want to add something, I just tack it on the end. The disadvantage of it, though, is there is no way of finding the information that you want without starting at number one, working your way along and checking each one as you go. So it's slow access, because it's got to go here, nope, until it finds the one that you want. Then it can pull out the information. So there are advantages and disadvantages of serial data access. The next one we've got is random. Now, random data access is really interesting, because what random data access does is, if this is my line of data, it makes each box or each section of data exactly the same size. So I'm going to call each one of these 64K. So each one of these boxes is 64K in size. Now, when I want to store something, all I do is I pick a box and I store my data in it, even if the data is not filling, it doesn't fill it. So I just put my data in. If it fills up that much, then it fills up that much. So each of these different boxes may contain different sizes of data. As you can see, this is all my information. Okay? Now, the advantages of this is, if I want to find something, it's a piece of cake. If I want a record, all I do is, I know the start point. I know that every single record is 64K in size. So all you do, if you want record number 23, is you do 64 times 23. I don't know what the answer is, but that will give you the right record number. and it jumps straight to it. So it's fast access. The same answer, it's really, really good when you want to store something, because you just go to the end and store. Okay, so it's fast store. Okay, but there. Okay, so we've got fast access and fast store. So there's not much of a disadvantage at the moment, apart from the fact is it's very wasteful. You have to make the assumption of how big the maximum size of your data file is going to be. If none of your files ever hit that maximum data size, then it's wasting all this space, all this space, all this space, and all this space. What a waste. So if you've got loads of disk space, random data access is the way to go. Okay? But as far as using it, as far as using memory efficiently, it's not really doing that. The last type is an index. Now, if I was trying to remember what an index looks like in an exam, I would think of a book. Okay, there's my little book. Because at the front of my book, I have an index. And that's exactly the same way as we should think about it in ICT. Because in my diagram on this one, what I have at the very beginning of the data file, I have an index. And that index, just has the names of where every single file is. So as you can see, I'm adding them. And then I have my data line here. And what I do is when I want to go to something, I find it in the index and I jump straight to it in the memory location. So indexing is really, really good, because obviously to find something in a book, if you think about it in a book's analogy, if I want to find something, if I look at it in the index, I can find it a lot quicker. So the advantages of this is, again, we still have the fast store, because if we want something new, we just tack it on the end again. So the fast storage is still on there. Access is also fast. Now, the disadvantage. The disadvantage is that when I want to delete something, what happens is when I want to delete something, it doesn't actually delete. What it does is it just takes it out of the index. So the data is still here, so this is still data. All I've done is taken the reference to the index out. So again, it is a wasteful solution, because I'm taking that out, but I've left the data there. Now there is a way around this, and the easiest example of this is by explaining it in the method of using defrag. If you use defrag on your computer, it organizes all the data. So what it would do is it would go through the index and it would go, right, is there a reference to that data? Keep it, otherwise delete it. Keep it, delete it, keep, delete it. But if you've ever run disk defrag on your computer, you know how long that's going to take. Right, that's the end of data storage. I hope that's covered most of the key terms, and I hope that helps.